Sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up.
Hey man, just want to let you know that sometimes you gotta shut the fuck up. This current time is just one of those times you gotta shut the fuck up. I don't think you're a bad person. I just don't want to hear you talking anymore. You gotta shut the fuck up.
All right, everybody. Welcome to a very special emergency episode of Shut the Fud Up. This one was one that desperately needed to come into the making, and it's going to be actually totally unscripted. As you can see from me right here, I look incredibly bad. I look all shitty. I look awful because I just came from the gym, and the whole time that I was at the gym, I kept checking Twitter, and all I'm seeing is just a bunch of bearish bull crap being posted all over the place about how the bull run is all over. The bear market has begun. So I knew I had to do this stream right here to educate all you imbeciles out there that think it's all over. And that's why I am looking like this here. So I apologize for my appearance. I just got back from the gym. I haven't showered here yet, so you can see just from like how scraggly and nasty my hair looks here. But this is very important that we talk about this here today, because a lot of people are going to get shaken out, and they're really going to regret it. You people that are falling for this crap right now, you are going to regret selling right here, because I'll tell you, I am not wrong. And if one of you thinks that I am wrong, you need to get on this stream here with me, or any stream with me, and show me how I'm wrong, because I'm willing to listen. I put a post up saying, hey, bears, come talk to me. I'm willing to listen. Let's hear you out. If you're right and I'm wrong, teach me. But, it's been oddly silent. All I'm hearing is a bunch of crickets. So, let's start with, where did this all start for me, kind of, at least here? I've got that over here in this window. So, they put up this post here saying Binance is dumping millions of ETH and Bitcoin again. And this young lady here says, the bear market is here. Ah! Can you believe it, guys? The bear market is here. It's all over. Oh, it's not showing. Okay, sorry about that. I always got trouble with everything working here. I guess the intro didn't play either. One of these days I will figure this out and I'll become a professional live streamer. One of these days, I promise. So yeah, Honey Pie here says that the bear market is here and we should all be pooping in our pants, scared to death about what's coming. You guys pooping in your pants out there? So, what I said was no, the bull run never got started. And I'm going to show all the evidence that the bull run never got started. But here's the response here. Here's what everybody thinks. This is what they're all saying is, you went from 16,000 Bitcoin to 124,000, brother. I don't know what you call that. And then all of these condescending smiley emojis here. So did you guys know this? I didn't know this here. I just learned something apparently from this here, is that a certain price dictates when market rushes end, when market flows and market cycles end. A certain price does that, and apparently it's chiseled in stone somewhere that this young lady has access to, but the rest of us, we don't. I mean, it'd be very useful if she would share that with us and show us her evidence of that. But no, the price chart apparently is her evidence. So once we reach a certain price, it's all over. I mean, if we rewind the clocks back to 2017, they said that when Bitcoin hit $3,000. They said that when it hit 5,000, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up until 19,000. They kept saying that. All right. See, this is how you know the bull run's not over. Because when they stop saying that, when they start saying, oh, no, it's going to go on and on and on, and it's never going to come down, that is when it's over, when the last bear turns bullish. That's the bear market. All right? Now, what about this then? What about 2021? Because again, we had the same thing go on there. A lot of people thought it was all over in May. And on the way up to 65,000 in May, everybody kept saying, oh, this is the top here at 30,000, at 40,000, at 50,000. Nobody could make up their minds. And the same thing in November. Oh, it's the top. They're at 66,000, 67, 68, 69. And eventually they were right at the 69. Well, actually, when we got to 69, everybody stopped saying, oh, yeah, this is the top. We're going to have extended bull runs. It's going to be a super cycle. When you hear that kind of talk, that like, hey, this bull run's going to go on forever, that is when we're in the bear market. That's when the bear begins. We're not hearing that. We're not hearing that kind of talk. So this is what started it right here, and this is what I had to say in response, and she hasn't said anything back. And that's how you know I'm right. When people don't respond to me, when they all disappear, or when they chicken out of live streams with me, that's how you know I'm right, because I have challenged bear after bear after bear after bear to get on a live stream with me. Not a damn one of them has been willing to do it. Not a damn one. So I said, your thesis is, number went up high, so bull run over. That's investment illiteracy. Because as I'm going to show you, all the Bitcoin flows that have pushed it up to where it's currently at are institutional. Nothing's come from retail yet. There's not a single risk-on asset in the world that's going to have a bull run when the federal funds rate exceeds the 10-year Treasury yield. The dollar index has stayed above 97. All previous bull runs occurred when it fell into the low 90s. And all 30 of the market top cycle indicators on CoinMarketCap have not been popped off yet. And the debt cycle hasn't even completed yet. But apparently, it's all over. Matter of fact, let's look at those cycle indicators here. Where do I got those? Over here. Oh, yeah, let's have a snapshot of the market here first. So we're kind of hanging tight here at 108,500. Not bad. Go from 124 to 108. Gee, how much of a drop is that here? Is that a real catastrophic drop? What is that kind of drop? Bear with me here for just a moment. It's down 13%. Yeah, it's down only 13%. Oh my gosh! The volatile asset is being volatile again. Help, help! $4,300 Ethereum. Like XRP looks like it's getting a little bit of a black eye here, but I've seen it much lower. I mean, I remember seeing XRP stuck at like $2.20 for a while, or $2 actually, bouncing back and forth. Everybody thinks it's the end because there was apparently some OnlyFans girls that were talking about investing in XRP. And that's apparently the top, which, I understand, because what was the top signal last time was this one Instagram thought going on one of those stupid podcasts about dating where, all the men and women just talk trash about each other. So there's one stupid girl goes on there and says that she's going to pay for her Brazilian booty lift with Ethereum. That was a top signal then. But you can't rely on the exact same thing to be the top signal now. That would be just like saying, okay, well, once we hit 65,000, that's the top because that was the top back in 2021. No, that was the top signal for 2021. It's not going to be the top signal for this cycle, which is why the price is higher. And then we look at the rest of the market right here. Oh, yeah, Hyperliquid's got a long way to go here. If you think like that's the cap for Hyperliquid, you do not have a shred of investment literacy, or you just don't know what's coming. And if you don't know what's coming, you got to check out my last stream because I explain like why this thing is going to pop off. And again, that's not me recommending that you buy this. All of these coins that I talk about, everything I talk about, I'm not recommending that you do anything. I'm not recommending that you buy any of these. I'm not giving any financial advice. I am simply reporting the facts to you. That's it. Everything I'm going to show you today is 100% factual. You can't argue with a damn bit of it unless you want to go to war with the facts. Same with Athena. That's another one that's really going to blow off from the stable coin flows. Look at Crow. This is at a very wildly good price right now, but there is so much more money that is going to be coming into this because of the deal that they've got with Trump Media. So that's not over. We take a look at everything else here. I mean, let's see, Pith has come down and regulated a little bit. Sonic hasn't even gotten its pop yet that it should be getting from all of the good news that have been coming out about it lately. So yeah, that's how I know that a lot of this is not over. EtherFi, it's been kind of flat right here, staying at 108 the whole time. But this thing is going to blow up too. And then we take a look at some of these other ones here. Or how about we look at the coins that we care about the most here, the ones in the Richard Hart ecosystem. Where are those? Where do I got those? Oh, yeah, over here. How are those doing? Still kind of flat. Yeah. I mean, I would if this was over, I would expect to be seeing these guys crashing really hard, like worse than the Gensler candle. That's what I would expect to see. But we don't see that. So I'm sorry. You're going to have to do a better job of convincing me that this is all over. Let's take a look at the other important indicators that all the bears are just choosing to ignore. And yeah, it is a choice because I am offering them, hey, come on stream with me. Show me where I'm wrong. Let me show you what I've got. They don't want to do it. They don't want to come on stream with me here and have to answer, okay, how are we supposed to have a bull run when the DXY is over 97? I mean, it's up. When the DXY is up, we go down. It is practically a direct, perfect inverse relationship. A perfect negative correlation almost. Little nuances in it, but it is almost perfect. How about the 10-year Treasury? 4.22%. Why does this matter? I wanted to explain this last time here, but I forgot to say this. But here's the deal. Interest rates are so important because in the world of finance, interest rates equal gravity. If the person that is feeding you bearish bullcrap can't tell you that, they're just financially illiterate. Interest rates matter for everything because they tell you what is the force of financial gravity in the current market. If I'm building a rocket ship, what I'm most concerned about is having propulsion strong enough to escape gravity, to defy gravity. If I'm building a jet plane, we got to be able to defeat gravity or else we're not going to fly. Coins can't go to the moon when gravity is that strong. And worse on top of that, what is higher than the 10-year Treasury yield? Anybody know? Anybody remember what I talked about last stream? Anybody got any idea there? Let's go ahead and tell you. It's this. The federal funds rate. The federal funds rate is higher than the 10-year Treasury. The 10-year Treasury is at 4.22. Federal funds is where? Does it say here? Yeah, right over here. 4.25 to 4.5. And by the way, it says it up here, but it's the same thing. By the way, we're still looking at an 86% chance of a cut to the federal funds rate by at least 25 basis points. Are you guys going to tell me that that doesn't matter, that that doesn't have any effect? Now, when that cut happens, what's going to be here, unless something happens with the Treasury, both yields, the federal funds rate and then the 10-year Treasury rate, will be right about the same. They'll be very neck and neck, unless people start dumping those 10-year Treasuries, pushing that rate up higher. Because then when the two yields flip, when federal funds goes below the Treasury and Treasury goes above it, that's when the real action occurs. That doesn't mean that the bull run kicks off immediately there. We might actually have a very nasty plunge, a very nasty wick down, a couple of red candles. But after that, when we get all the crap out, it's nothing but up from there. That's how it works. Anything in the news here that we should worry about before I get into proving my case here? Because today Today is going to be case closed. You got any idiots pushing a bunch of bearish bullcrap on Twitter saying, oh, the bull run is over. Sell everything. When you see that, just take the link from this stream, post it under their post, and say, hey, idiot, you need to get some investment literacy. Watch this, because you're wrong. Here's the proof. Case closed. Nothing really going on in the news here that we need to talk about. Don't think so. Yeah, I don't really see anything. Don't see anything worth talking about here. Okay, so let's get into what I want to get into, which is this thread that I posted on X. And if you haven't seen this thread, it's pinned to my profile here. What I want you to do is I want you to go find it and repost it. We need to get this information out there. It needs to be spread. It needs to be widespread. So far, only 3,000 people have seen it. We need more people to see this here. So we'll get back to it here. But what I want you guys to do is go to my X and find that thread and repost it. More people need to see it. Again, what's the emergency? Here's what the emergency is here. It's not to argue with the stupid people. Because I have made the offer multiple times. Guys, come on my stream and show me where I'm wrong. And I can't get them to. I can't get them to come on my stream. I mean, if the bear market was so obviously here, why am I having such a hard time getting any of these bears to come on my stream? And, supposedly it should be very easy for them to just embarrass and destroy me. It should be very easy for them to do that, but they're not doing that. Why not? Why has every bear that I've ever challenged to a debate or to a live stream, doesn't even have to be a debate, just a discussion, why have they all chickened out? 3 of them so far. 3 of them that I've challenged. And they all chickened out. T-Bird, I'm trying to do a stream with you, T-Bird. And I don't hate you. I respect you. I think you are actually one of the few bears out there that would be a formidable opponent for me and would actually make me think deeper on the issue. I think I might learn something from you. I want to stream with you, T-Bird. Come on stream here and tell me why I'm wrong. Why you think the market cycle has to end this year. Tell me why I'm wrong. And let's discuss it for the benefit of the viewers, for the benefit of the community. Let's discuss it. But I can't get nobody to do it. I don't know why. So what's the emergency? The emergency is this here. The emergency is I want to reassure you guys, you people with brains, that this bull run is not over, and I want to arm you with the information that says, in fact, and proves that it is not over, because it never even started. It never even started. Maybe we'll take a look at some of the T-Bird posts I've seen lately that are bearish. Take a look at those later, maybe. Anyways, let's get back to the thread here. And again, what I need you guys to do is spread this thread, because this information needs to get out there. So here's the first chart. A lot of people think, well, the halving occurred last year in April. So typically the Bitcoin top is 18 months later. It's almost 18 months later. And all of that's true. But here's the deal. The halving doesn't cause the bull run. Y'all think it does, but that's just because it's easy to think that. That's just because it's a very simplified thing. And we like to keep things simple now, don't we? Yes. Thinking like the halving causes the bull run, that's like saying that umbrellas cause rain, all right? Or that umbrellas cause wet rooftops. That's what a lot of people think here. But do you know that most coins don't have a halving? So maybe it explains the Bitcoin cycle, but it doesn't explain the rest of the crypto market. And what really causes it is not the halving itself. Because at a certain point here, the halving is not going to matter at all, just because the reduction in block rewards is going to be far below 1 Bitcoin. It's going to be into the fractions. And I think within about 10, 20 years, those fractions are going to be so small that it'll just be a rounding error. So it'll be marginal at best, won't even make a difference. But most coins don't even have halvings. Like, the only other ones I know of that do is Litecoin. And that's all I can really think of is that. And like, back during the Ethereum merge, they called that a triple halvening. I remember seeing that on all the thumbnails on YouTube. Triple halvening's occurring. Okay, so the triple halving occurred. But the price didn't go up. No, it stayed flat. So that's not what causes these bull runs. What causes the bull runs is the increase of the money supply. The money printer going brrr. That is what causes the bull runs. You guys need to get it through your thick skulls. The money printing causes the bull runs, and the money printing that occurs roughly every 4 years is being done to get the U.S. public debt under a manageable level. See, the U.S. government can issue all sorts of debt that they want, and they never get in trouble with it. And that is because they can print their way to make the debt not matter. See, this is why they always make inflation occur, but they never let deflation occur. They'll never let deflation occur because that will not only wreck the economy, but that is going to destroy the lives of everyone that has debt. Everyone that has any sort of debt, their life will be ruined if deflation occurs. Who's got the largest amount of debt? The U.S. government. That is why the Federal Reserve's mandate is 2% inflation. It's not 0% inflation. They have to have inflation occur because the more inflation we have, the less of a problem it is to be in debt, because the amount of money that you owe is less valuable. When you have a less valuable debt, it's less impactful. Like, anybody in the audience here that's had a mortgage and you kept it for a long time, like maybe you went the full 30 years, or you're going to go the full 30 years with it, at maybe the first 10 years of that mortgage, it sucks paying it. But after that 10 years goes by, you start laughing about it. My grandfather laughed about his mortgage and said, "Oh, I love my mortgage." He was laughing about it all the way up until 1992 when he paid the last payment of it. It was $94. That's the thing. Debt is a fixed payment, and when you have a fixed payment, it becomes less painful as each dollar bill that you put towards it has less purchasing power. So that is why money printing occurs, to get the U.S. public debt under control and manageable, or really what I should say is it makes it less painful. That money printing causes the bull runs. All of you streamers and cringefluencers out there, I need you people to get this through your thick, empty skulls. I'm really calling all of you people out. Seriously, you guys should be covering this. You should be telling people this. If you told people this, we wouldn't see the red candles that we see. You idiots apparently don't know this. I'm going to start being condescending and rude to you guys until you show me that you actually have a brain and that you know what you're talking about, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't think you guys know what you're talking about. I'm talking about you, Rand Nooner. I'm talking about you, George, from Cryptos R Us. And I'm definitely talking about you illiterate idiots over at Discover Crypto. Joshua Jake? How about Joshua Fake? You apparently don't know a damn thing about crypto. DZ, you're one of the stupidest people on the planet. One of the stupidest people. I mean, do you have an original thought? Apparently not, because you make the exact same stupid face on every single one of your thumbnails. I just want to punch it every time I see it. Guys, start harassing your streamers and influencers, because they're not telling you what you need to hear. Start harassing them and saying, "Hey, are you stupid? Why do you keep pushing a bunch of bullcrap and you don't talk about things that are actually legit? Why don't you tell us what really causes the bull run? Do you even know?" Challenge these people. Challenge these people, like I did to that one girl that was it was being all condescending to me. I asked her, like, "Hey, what causes the bull run?" What causes crypto to go up? And I never got an answer back. Never got an answer back. You see, that's why I can't get any bears to stream with me, because I'm going to ask that question. Hey, what causes the bull run? And I guarantee you, they will not be able to answer that question. We have an asset that is priced in dollar bills. We got an asset priced in dollar bills. When dollar bills increase in supply, when they decrease in purchasing power, the asset that is measured and priced in dollar bills goes up. I'm going to put a Substack together that explains it so well, even a caveman could understand it. All right? As we're using like a nightclub analogy here, because like imagine we're managing a nightclub and we got a bunch of hot girls, or we don't have a bunch of hot girls, we have a handful of hot girls, but we have a bunch of thirsty dudes. That makes the hot girls more valuable because the dudes are going to be competing with each other and there's more competition against each other to win the hot girls. If we decrease the number of dudes in the nightclub, those hot girls get less valuable. If there's less dudes than girls, the guys have more value because then the girls are going to start competing for the attention from the men. That's when they're going to be more flirty and start showing a little more leg, so to speak. There's going to be a Substack coming up that explains that. It's a matter of you got dollars on one side of the scale and then the financial assets on the other side. Yeah, guys, if you can get T-Bird to come stream with me. I mean, I'm not here to argue and shout and scream at him. I want to have a reasonable discussion with him because I really want to be wrong. I want T-Bird to be right. T-Bird, I want you to be right. I want to believe that this all ends in 1 or 2 months, like October. I would be happy if it was all over in October because I'm sick of the volatility. I mean, I was thinking that this was all going to be over come May of this year, just from like how fast it looked like Trump was looking to move. But it didn't happen. Everything took a long time. And it's going to take a long time because TradFi moves very, 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 very slow. I know because I used to work in it. It moves incredibly slow. But I want you to be right, T-Bird. I want you to prove to me that you're right, that this is all going to end in October, because I would love nothing more than to sell all of my bags in October and go to, I don't know, Thailand or the Philippines, some place with a warmer climate and a cheaper cost of living. Or better yet, Mexico. Much better go to Mexico. Puerto Vallarta is where I'm looking to expatriate to. So I would love it if that was the case. Would absolutely love it. T-Bird, come show me that you're right. I want you to be right. I really do. I'll get back to this thread here. So the money supply growing is what causes crypto to go up. You can practically see a direct relationship here. All right, so green, that's the crypto market cap. The blue, this is just the U.S. money supply. Really, it's the world money supply that we need to see to be able to measure this. Notice as it slowed its growth right here, November 2021, when they started slowing the growth of the money supply, that was when crypto started going down. Now, the growth is going up a little bit. It's gone up a little bit. And that means that crypto has only gone up a little bit. This big move from November 2022 to where we are today is due to just a tiny bit of money supply growth. This should make you so incredibly bullish, you should be shitting your pants with anticipation. If it can move from 16,000 to 124,000 off just tiny little bit of money supply growth, imagine how much it's going to move when the money supply really gets going higher, when the money printer really goes burr, because it hasn't happened yet. It has not happened yet. Next thing here is proof that it hasn't happened yet. This is the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. How do you know when the Federal Reserve is printing money? This is how you know when the Federal Reserve's balance sheet goes up. Look at this. It's going down. The asset side of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet is going down. Look where it started going down. 2022. Gee, what happened in 2022? Anybody remember? Hey, everybody in the chat here. Anybody remember what happened in 2022? Anybody remember that? Was that a good year? Was that a bad year? I mean, you can see here on the chart that what happened at first was the Federal Reserve started reducing their balance sheet. They stopped printing money. In fact, they practically started burning money. Hey, RH Max, good to see you. Tam, I see you too. My number one cheerleader. I can't help but I can't not see you. Welcome everybody. If you're just joining us right here, what I'm doing is I'm educating the masses here about why the bull run has not even started yet. This here is proof enough, this chart. Because what this chart tells you is that the Federal Reserve is not printing money yet. We've seen some growth in USM2, but it's not from the Fed. The Fed hasn't printed money yet. How does the Fed print money? They buy treasuries. When they buy treasuries, they print money to buy treasuries with. They don't take money out of their own pockets. They ain't got a vault at the Federal Reserve. You think Jerome Powell is going to get out his wallet or get out his checkbook and write a check from his own personal account or an account in the name of the Federal Reserve to buy treasuries? No! They print the money to buy the treasuries. And when they buy the treasuries, the assets on the Fed's balance sheet go up. Do you see anything going up on this chart yet? Do you see anything going up on this chart yet? This is why bears chicken out of streams with me, because I'm going to show them this chart and they can't argue with it. Looking at you, Execute, you stupid fool. So, when you look at this chart here, they have been offloading the balance sheet. Offloading the balance sheet is the opposite of money printing. The fact that we have been going up at all is a miracle when they have been doing the opposite of what needs to be done to make crypto run. When this reverses, when you see the balance sheet go up, like you can kind of see down here. Look at this. 2020, what happened? What happened in 2020? Besides the pandemic, like what happened at the Fed? They started printing money. Look at this huge spike. The bull run happened shortly after. Good God, that proves I'm right. You all need to stop watching these other idiot cringefluencers like Piss Cover Crypto, like Rand Nooner, like George, and you need to just watch me because I'm the only one apparently that's right about this. We'll give some credit to some other ones. Randy Hipper, I think that Randy Hipper, I'm not so sure if she knows why she's right, but she is right. I don't know if she knows this stuff inside out, but Randy Hipper, you got a brain out there. I respect you. You've been telling the truth. Wendy O has actually been telling the truth this whole time. I don't know if she knows why she's right, but she is right. I don't know if she knows all these details, but what she's been saying has been right. Those are the only two people that I've seen in the influential space, in the streaming space, in mainstream crypto streaming, that have a brain. That's it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Altcoin Daily's got a brain or something, but I haven't seen anything from any of those guys that convinces me that anybody out there knows anything about this. So, guys, the only person you need to be watching is me. Of course, watch RH Max. Of course, watch Crypto Coffee and some of our other streamers. I'm not saying don't watch them, but good God, the mainstream people, do they not know this? Are they blind? Do they not even look back? Charlie, Cultivate Crypto. I know you know this. Why don't you talk about it? Miguel, Dollar Cost Crypto. I know you know this. Maybe you did talk about it and I missed it because I don't see you guys talking about this. You guys need to talk about this. You guys need to reassure the investors out there that, yeah, you're doing the right thing. And I don't want to just hear you guys say, yeah, you're doing the right thing. I want you to show us that we are doing the right thing like I'm doing right now. See, here's why you guys ought to be, here's why you guys watch me. Here's why you guys want to watch me here is because not only do I tell you bullish stuff, but I prove my bullish stuff. A guy on X gave me a great tagline. I think I'm going to use this from now on. That's no bullshit, just bullishness. All right. Now back to this chart here. See, this is how you know I'm unscripted today because I'm totally getting sidetracked too often. So we need the opposite of this to occur for a bull run to begin. This proves the bull run didn't start. What else proves the bull run hasn't even started yet is this chart. I made a big deal out of this on my last stream. I acted like this was the Ten Commandments that was just given to me on Mount Sinai. You guys remember my last stream, how I made such a big deal out of this? There's a reason why. What this chart shows you is the spread between the federal funds rate and the 10-year Treasury. Does piss cover crypto even know anything about this? I guarantee you, like if we submitted this to them, you'd see a thumbnail of DZ making this stupid face. That's the stupid face he makes on every single thumbnail. It's my impression of him. Got to add him to my list of impressions of mocking people. Because he's got like a white trash trailer park voice, which I can do perfectly just because I was raised in a trailer park. Yeah, I'll tell you guys my life story one of these days here, but it's a very funny story. But DZ would always be something like, "Welcome to Discover Crypto. I'm DZ, and I'm a piece of white trash, and I'm here to tell you why you should be investing in Bitcoin and why Hex is a scam." Yeah, that Richard Hart guy, there's nothing good they could say about him because, he richer than me. And we don't like that here down at my trailer park. No, oh man, he's out there drinking wine while I'm sitting here drinking a bunch of Steel Reserve. And man, even though Steel Reserves taste like piss in a can, and this is piss cover crypto, so that's perfectly fitting. Well, still, I don't like that. I don't like having to drink Steel Reserve, and I don't like the fact that the only woman interested in me is my cousin. That's what those guys are like. That's what trailer trash life is like. So, where was I? This chart here. This chart. The spread between the federal funds rate, which you see is the maroon line, and the 10-year Treasury, which is all the candles, the green and the red candles. This is the 10-year Treasury. Whenever you see the federal funds rate exceed the 10-year Treasury, that means we're not getting a bull run in that time that's occurring. Why is that? When the federal funds rate is high, that means short-term Treasury rates are high. Short-term Treasuries are super safe, guaranteed investments. When you deposit money into a savings account, how do they pay you interest? They buy short-term Treasuries, the T-bills. And that's how they pay you their interest. Why would you invest in a risky market, like even the stock market? Why would you invest in the stock market when historically all it does is on average 10% a year? And it's not guaranteed to do that. There's risk in it. It could be you could lose money in the stock market because it had some bad years. Why would you do that if you could make 4%, 5% in a savings account guaranteed, or in a 10-year in a 1-year Treasury? Why would you do it? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. So when the federal funds rate is high, the short-term Treasuries are high, and the 10-year Treasury, when that's lower than the federal funds rate, that means nobody wants those 10-year Treasuries. When nobody wants those 10-year Treasuries, that means the interest rate is high as well. That means gravity is stronger in the financial world. The higher the Treasury rates, the stronger the force of gravity, financial gravity. When the federal funds rate is higher than a 10-year Treasury, that's not right. That's not good. That means the world is off its kilter. That means there's something very wrong in the system that needs to be worked out. Because the federal funds rate, that's an overnight loan. That's the rate you make on an overnight loan. Or that the Fed makes, really. Or the member banks of the Fed make. But the 10-year Treasury is the rate that you make on a 10-year investment. The fact that it's 10 years long, as opposed to 1 day long, should mean that the 10-year Treasury rate should always be higher. Because more risk can happen in 10 years than can happen in 1 day. So when federal funds is higher than 10-year Treasury, something's really wrong with the world. Things don't get fixed and start going right, and the world doesn't go back to the way it should until the two yields flip, and that's what this chart shows. Look at here, 1983, when those yields flipped back to normal, when 10-year went above federal funds, we had the good years known as the 80s. Y'all remember the 80s? Y'all old enough to remember? I'm going to age myself here. I remember them. Anybody remember the 80s? What was it a good time? Was it a bad time? Huh? Y'all tell me in the chat. And I'll tell you what. I have nothing but good memories from the 80s. Maybe it's because I was a kid. But still, you know what I remember about the 80s? Everybody was hot. That's right. See, how hot people are, how good-looking people are, is a sign of how good the economy is. Because when the economy's bad, we don't really have time to care about our health. We don't have time to go to the gym. We don't have the time to get a good night's sleep. I mean, this is part of why mental health is so bad. It's because nobody's sleeping. The average millennial sleeps 5 hours a night. When the economy is good, you got money. And when you're a guy that's got money, what are you interested in doing? You're interested in dating and impressing the girls. So when the economy is good, you make sure that you're good looking so that you can go get the girls. That was the 80s. And it happened again here in the 90s. You see right here, 1987. Anybody remember what happened in 1987? Anybody remember that year? Because something very significant in the financial world happened in 1987. Anybody know? I mean, there's a name for it. It's a very special name. Anybody know, man? Do 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 do. I'll tell you what, it's very close to a song. Right? There's a song name by Orgy that it's just a few letters off. You know that song, Blue Monday? How does it feel? Tell me, how should I feel? But I probably should let you tell me just how I should feel today. So it's not Blue Monday. 1987 was Black Monday. Not a good day. You don't have a name like Black Monday and it be a good day. Black Monday was a severe and completely unexpected global stock market crash that began on Monday, October 19th, 1987. Look what happened here. 1987, the 10-year Treasury falls below the federal funds rate. Good God, will you mainstream people out there cover this? You don't even have to credit me. You don't have to say, yeah, hey, that guy, Cairo Copen, he's a very good-looking guy, and he's very charismatic and everything, and man, he is so smart and all. You ain't got to give me credit and say, yeah, I'm glad that Cairo guy taught me this. You can just take this and just push it out there, and you can even claim it as your own and plagiarize it. I don't give a good goddamn. Get so heated when I talk about the mainstream, because when you got 1 million subscribers, the amount of good that you could do with something like that, but you people are choosing not to do it, really upsets me, really angers me. Back to the subject. Looky here. 1991. Federal funds rate falls below the 10-year Treasury. What happened next? Does anybody, I'm sure there one of you all, Addy remembers the 80s. Everybody else remember the 90s? Y'all tell me about the 90s. Y'all remember the 90s? What do you remember about the 90s? Was that good times? Was that fun times? Was that bad times? Were they painful? I remember them very, very fondly. Movies were better back in the 90s. TV was better back in the 90s. People were better back in the 90s. Everybody was hot. In the 90s, what was the number one show? It was Baywatch. Did you see any ugly people on Baywatch? No. I mean, wrestling was better back in the 90s. Any wrestling fans out there? You remember how good wrestling was back in the 90s? I remember it fondly. Racing was better. So here's how you know I'm trailer trash right here. The three favorite sports are the 3 R's. Racing, wrestling, and rodeo. That's how you know I'm trailer trash. That and my impression of DZ is just so spot on. But the 90s were a great time, and that was kicked off right here when the 10-year Treasury fell below, or when the federal funds rate fell below the 10-year Treasury. In comes 1995. They cross over again, but we briefly get it right back under control. And everything's pretty good under the sun right here for the next couple of years, about 5 years. And we had 5 amazing years in stocks from here to here. We get it back under control right around here. But then here, this is where 9/11 happens. Federal funds rate goes up just slightly before it. And we have a recession. Like when Clinton left office, about the first 6 months of Bush was a recession. Remember that very, very keenly, just because of how often they brought that up. Everybody brought it up. Like Bush was bringing it up here because we wanted to blame Clinton, and then the Democrats were bringing it up because they wanted to blame Bush. First 6 months of 2000 was a recession. And then shortly after, about a year and a half later, we had 9/11, and that caused all sorts of chaos. The Fed had to step in and act to save the country from an economic collapse because it was some pretty scary times. I remember exactly where I was when 9/11 happened. I was in 9th grade, and I was sitting in Mr. Williams' class. Yeah, it was Mr. Williams, and he told us about it. So I remember all that and like how frightened everybody was because we had never seen anything like that. The Fed had to step in and cut the rates practically all the way down to zero. They cut them down really quickly here. So the Fed funds rate nosedived down below the 10-year Treasury. And because of that, we had 5 good years in stocks. 5 really good years. And it was also the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq. The war put a lot of people to work. So the economy was really good for those 5 years. I mean, it had some tax cuts too. Had a lot of spending as well, like national debt kept going up. But then here, it's about 2006. This is when all those hedge funds in the movie The Big Short start to notice a housing bubble. We're talking about Michael Burry. We're talking about, I think it was Mark Baum. Yeah, Mark Baum. And his hedge fund. They're talking about like those 2 guys with the garage hedge fund. That's when they started noticing it. It was about 2006. If you watch that movie, The Big Short, if you haven't seen it, you got to see it because it's some of the best financial education you'll ever get. A lot of people think that it's repeating itself now with the housing crisis. In some cases, they're right. But what was the telltale sign that nobody knew to notice back then was this. Federal funds rate went above the 10-year Treasury. And it stayed above that until when? 2008. What happened in 2008? Anybody got any idea? Anybody remember that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was it significant? Was it an important year? Anything important happened? I don't know, man. I got no memory. I got to think here. Oh, yes. I remember now. The great financial crisis happened in 2008. So what happens after that? What happens at the same time? The Fed brings the federal funds rate down below the 10-year Treasury. What happened after that? After they cut the interest rates all the way down to zero, we had another 5 great years in stocks. Really, we had a 10-year bull run in stocks. Because we didn't really have a real bad year till 2018, where we ended the year negative. Had a great 10 years in stocks. I mean, there was probably like one dull year where it was just flat, where it ended flat. I think it might have been year 2013 or 2015, maybe. Something to do with Brexit, probably. But good God, all the way up until then, from 2008, or 2009, I think it's just where we should really call it, because that was March 2009 was the bottom of the stock market. From there, all the way up until the end of 2017, it was all good. Really, even throughout most of 2018, it was good. It didn't go negative until the end of the year. Crypto had its first noticeable cycle then, when the real world started to notice it, everybody outside the cypherpunks. And the Bitcoin bull run goes all the way up until the end of 2017, and we get a little bit of alt season in January 2018. This kind of shows you right there, that cycle by itself, that shows you that it can run into the next year after the supposed fourth year, because it's not dependent on time. I keep seeing a lot of this stuff here on X where everybody's going, oh, September is historically a bad year for crypto. Ah. Do you really think that all these coins are these sentient, conscious beings that look at a calendar and say, oh man, hey, Bitcoin, hey, Cardano, it's your friend Solana here, and did you guys know that it's September? That means we need to go down. That's what a lot of these people think happens. That one little princess that called me out and I called her out back on X, I'm sure that's what she thought, that the calendar dictates everything, and that crypto coins legitimately look at a calendar and say, hey, usually we go down this month. Let's go down. Oh, my. All right. Then, what else do we have going on here? Federal funds rate. After 2018, 2018 was when they were raising rates. That's what caused that year to suck at the end for stocks. It's probably also what caused the crypto bull run to end. I mean, they were raising rates throughout most of 2017, but like they weren't large enough raises to be as impactful as they would be today. Like going from 0 to 25 beeps and from 25 to 50, that's not as impactful as going from 4.5% to 4.75% like we would if we did it today. It's not the same. But here in 2018, as they were raising rates throughout there, the rate raises were more meaningful, more impactful because they were climbing higher, and that caused 2018 to suck. But then something else happened. The federal funds rate exceeded the 10-year Treasury. When that happens, we got suppression. So 2019 was a great time to be buying crypto. 2019 was a great year to be accumulating it. And it looked like things were going to start getting running in 2020, but then the pandemic happens. Because of the pandemic, the Fed has to push the federal funds rate all the way down to 0 again. And then it's below the 10-year Treasury. Now, federal funds rate can go to zero. Treasuries, I mean, figuratively, they could go to zero, but it's not likely because there's always trading activity on them setting prices. So unless people are paying, I mean, I don't know if it really is figuratively, it's possible for a treasury to go to zero, but or the treasury yield to go to zero. I can't really think of like how anybody would allow that to happen, though. I can't really think of a scenario where they would allow that, because basically what's happening there is now the government is paying. You're paying the government to hold their bonds. Can't think of anybody that certainly would not let that happen today. But after the yields flipped in 2020, anybody remember what happened? Anybody got any idea what happened when the yields flipped in 2020? Yeah, man, I'm going to reload my drink. You guys throw in the chat there what happened in 2020 after the yields flipped. Still with you guys here. I'm just, you all tell me. I'm waiting for somebody to say something. Anybody got it? All right. I know it's a very hard question. It was like, 2020 was a very uneventful year. Nothing important happened. I mean, obviously the pandemic, but what happened immediately after was crypto started going up again. It went up real high. That's right. Tablarus has got it. On risk assets go up. Condor's got it. Yep. And then you can see here on the chart, again, after that occurs, well, it gets a little too hot. Federal Reserve has to step in and raise the Fed funds rate. They raise it even higher than the 10-year Treasury. You see, when that happens, when that suppression goes on, what you got to bear in mind is that what the 10-year Treasury tells us is, not just what is the force of gravity, but that tells you growth expectations in the future. So when the Federal Reserve has the Fed funds rate higher than the growth rate expectation for the future, we're suppressing the economy and keeping it capped. What you guys need to take from this here is for Bitcoin to go from 16,000 to 124,000 with all of this suppression from the central bank, that's amazing. Imagine what it's going to do when the suppression comes off, when the weights, or since I'm a racing fan, I'll get this. I hope you guys get this. When the restrictor plates come off of the engine. Now, if you don't know, like when you watch the Daytona 500, they have to put restrictor plates on the cars to slow them down, because the way that Daytona is, it's 2.5 miles all the way around, and the banking is like 30 degrees. So if they don't slow those cars down, those cars could be going 250 to 300 miles an hour, and somebody could die. I mean, plenty of people have died at Daytona from crashes. But, not only would the person driving the car die, but like people in the audience could die if those cars went airborne. So as a safety measure, they have these plates that they put on top of the carburetor that slows the car down. And that way they just go to like 200 to 210 miles an hour on Daytona. And it makes the racing much more competitive too, actually. You'd think it would get boring with them slowing the cars down, but no, it makes it more competitive. Because those cars, they get bunched up into these giant clusters, and you see them door to door, bumper to bumper. And you see like 3 guys cross the finish line all at the same time, and we got to do a photo analysis to see who finished first. Right now, the economy has restrictor plates on it. when they reduce the federal funds rate, they take the restrictor plates off and we go faster. They took a little bit of it off. So we're almost neck and neck here between the Treasury and the federal funds rate. Not quite, though. The next rate cut will get us neck and neck. And then any rate cuts after that will finally push the federal funds rate down below the 10-year Treasury. Because 10-year Treasury, I think that yield's going to rise just from the amount of debt that they have to issue. This chart proves I'm right and all the bears are wrong. That's why I can't get bears to come on a stream with me. Where are the Treasury rates right now? I mean, we looked at them earlier here. I took this screenshot yesterday. But it's roughly around the same place right here. The 10-year is at 4.22 right now instead of 2.1. It's not going to change over the weekend, the holiday weekend. Yeah, by the way, don't look at your portfolio over the weekend. It's going to go down. Don't look at it. Don't worry about it. Enjoy the weekend. Just keep coin market cap closed out. Don't worry about it. But these are really high rates for Treasury yields. They're not supposed to be this high. Anything over 3.6 is considered high. So when this is occurring, what's being communicated here? What are we to take from this? What we're to take from this here is that the investing public does not even want safe investments. You see, if everybody wanted these treasuries, they wouldn't have to offer high yields like this. They would offer very low yields. They would give them 1%. I remember back when they were 1% because everybody wanted treasuries back then. I remember I was a bond broker at the time. But when the yields are high, it's because nobody wants them, so they have to keep raising the yields in order to attract investing, attract people to invest their money in them. They can't do it. They can't do it. Not right now. So what this tells us is that there's not going to be a bull run of any kind, or at least there's not going to be a bull run in any risky investment like stocks or crypto until the yields come down. What you also got to factor into this here about these treasuries is the higher a treasury yield goes, which is used as the risk-free rate, it's used as a conduit for it, the higher equity risk premiums, or really just risk premiums, have to go. I talked about the cap rate last stream on commercial real estate. If a 10-year treasury or a treasury of any sort is at 4%, the cap rate on real estate better be higher, because I'm not going to go buy an apartment building or any other kind of real estate that is a super pain in the butt to manage and a hassle all the damn time to just make a little bit over what I could have made risk-free, hassle-free. Because you know what a pain in the butt it is to do real estate. All these real estate guys, I can't stand all those real estate gurus, the bigger pocket guys. They make it sound like it's just so easy. Because I did that. I did Airbnb. And it was great money at first. It was great money at first. But man, it was a pain. It was a pain in the butt. Because, you know, some guests really suck. And I can't imagine, like, Airbnb, the great thing about it is that they did all of the rent collection for me. They did it all for me. So I didn't have to chase people down to collect the rent. I mean, your guests, they don't even get a key to the place. They don't even know what the address is until after they paid. That part was good. I liked that. But imagine, like, if they weren't doing Airbnb, if you were doing just the old school monthly rental to people, where maybe they sign a lease with you. Collecting the rent is a bitch, an absolute bitch. If you're your own managing property, if you're your own property manager, because you know what happens is, like, you go to collect the rent one month and they answer the door with their arm in a sling. And so you being nice, you let them off easy. And then you go the next month and the other arm is in a sling. And then you go back the next month and they're on a crutch on one side. Then you go back the next month, they're on a crutch on the other side. Don't get into real estate like that. Don't do that kind of real estate. Like, do a real estate investment trust or something else. Don't manage it yourself. All right. So we're not going to have a bull run of any sort until these yields come down. And here's also another thing to understand about this is that this is a really big problem for the United States that nobody wants to buy our public debt. How do we fix this? There's only one way to fix this. If nobody wants to buy your debt, you have to print money at the Federal Reserve to buy the debt, which I will show you next here. Or not next, in a little bit. I said this one earlier here. Crypto assets are priced in dollars. When the dollar is strong, 97 is considered strong, then the dollar the crypto prices are going to be low just because of how strong the dollar is. That's just a fact. All right. The dollar's strength is represented by this index, DXY. So far for this run, it has stayed above 97. I mean, all of last year, it stayed above 100. So for us to have any sort of run that we had at all last year was incredible. We were incredibly lucky to have the prices that we got last year in 2024 because the dollar was so strong. And it got stronger after Trump's election because everybody knows, well, Trump is going to be good for the dollar. It got stronger for that. And that's mainly what is... That's a big part of what's keeping crypto down right now is a strong dollar. Because a lot of people think, well, Trump's pro-dollar, so he wants to keep a strong dollar, right? Well, he wants a weak dollar because he wants the interest rates lower. He wants a weak dollar in that sense. I mean, he wants everybody using it. He wants everybody to know that the dollar is reserve currency of the world. And all of the stablecoin legislation is to support the dollar bills. But when we have a DXY up this high, we're not having a bull run. You don't get a bull run until it goes into the low 90s, because that's where it was in all of the previous bull runs. So this also proves that I'm right. The massive amount of money printing that's going to be done to get the current debt cycle under control is going to be double the amount from the previous cycle. That's going to weaken the dollar. It's going to weaken the dollar. And you can see here, it is a perfect inverse relationship between crypto and the dollar index. I've had an argument going on for a long time with this one putz that thinks the dollar index doesn't matter. This chart proves I'm right. That's why he's chickened out of every invite to come on a stream with me. You know, he even agreed to come on a stream with me. But once I started posting these charts, he chickened out. He chickened out when I posted these charts here, saying, yeah, this proves I'm right. So I'm going to ask you to, on the stream, to disprove this chart. This is what you're arguing against. And then he went, and the only time that we hear from him is when I'm not around. Because look at that. When the dollar's strong, crypto's weak. When crypto is weak, or when crypto is strong, the dollar is weak. It's a perfect inverse relationship. The dollar will get weaker because the amount of money printing that's going to need to be done is double the amount of money printing that was done last time. Because the amount of debt that is being issued this time around is double the amount of debt that was issued last time. And that is this chart. The United States is going to issue $13.9 trillion in debt by the 2026. The EU, it's going to be about $4 trillion. Japan, $2.4 trillion. China, $13 trillion. So in total, that's $33.5 trillion. That's a lot of debt being issued. And what the Treasury yields tell us is that nobody is buying the debt. When nobody is buying the debt, what do? And let me also show you this here. This is how much debt was issued last time. $14.5 trillion. 33.5 is more than double 14.5. This was in response to the pandemic. You know how much money printing was done in the pandemic? Let me go back to that chart, actually, because that's a really interesting chart here. Let's see. Well, it kind of shows it here. I mean, I would say like the pandemic started right here and was already, it was already going up. That really went up here. I think that this chart shows it a little bit better. Matter of fact, yeah, let me find that one. Bear with me, guys. Let's see, it was Federal Reserve balance sheet, because that's what keeps track of the real printing. Oh, yeah, this chart is way, way better. Hang on. Check this out. They were unloading the treasuries at the Federal Reserve. I mean, they'd kept it pretty flat here for a couple of years. They were offloading the balance. They kept the balance sheet pretty flat. Goes down a little bit, goes up a little bit. 2018, they start unloading it, start dumping. That's the opposite of printing money when they do that. That's the absolute opposite of printing money. And that caused the 2018 bear market. See, I'm telling you guys, it's not the 4-year cycle. It's just the cycle. What dictates it is not the calendar. What dictates it is the actions on the macro level by the federal government and the Federal Reserve. Don't believe me? Well, check this out. Looky here. February 24th, 2020. What happened? What happened around then? The pandemic. It broke out. Look what the Fed did. Not only did they reduce the interest rates down to zero in an emergency meeting, they also bought up a whole bunch of treasuries. And that shot the balance sheet from the Federal Reserve from, see, this is like in the billions, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be. And yeah, so that's 4 billion from 4 billion. Or no, that's trillion actually. Yeah, that's in the trillions there. So 4 trillion all the way up to 7 trillion in just how many months? 4 months. They nearly doubled the balance sheet in 4 months. 2020. That was done by printing money. Then they kept printing money throughout 2021 all the way up until March 2022, or really May. I think March is like when we started noticing negative price action in the alts. And I remember I was in a lot of DeFi at the time, and I started watching the stuff go down. I'm like, why is this going down? And then in May, Terra Luna collapses. As you see, once they start offloading the balance sheet, which they started doing in May, that tells everybody that money is not going to be easy to come by anymore. It's as good as raising rates. They started raising rates there too. So they were offloading the balance sheet and raising rates. It's tightening all across the board. Credit tightening, quantitative easing and everything. Or quantitative tightening and credit tightening. And this continued all the way through 2022 up until March 2023. That was where the Fed, I think, did its first pivot on interest rate policy. They bought a little more, but then they also started selling a little more too. So they've been going down ever since on the Fed balance sheet. That's the opposite of printing money. Again, that proves I'm right. All of those other influencers out there that don't talk about this, they're just idiots. They're just idiots or they're just ignorant. Because here's the facts on my side. And all you bears out there that are too chickened to get on a stream and challenge me, that's what I'm going to ask you to debate, is the Fed's balance sheet. You're not going to be debating me. You're not going to be arguing with me. You're going to be arguing with the balance sheet there. So we got all this debt that's going to need to get bought. Who do you think is going to buy it? It's not going to be like it used to be. This was prior to 2008, right? Or this was just after 2008, sorry. 2008 to about 2019. It was pretty evenly distributed as far as who bought the national debt, who lent to the government, who bought the treasuries. Pretty evenly distributed across different institutions and foreign investors, China, Japan, money market funds, non-financial corporates, insurance companies, security dealers, pensions, even households. Now, what you can see here since 2019, the only people that really buy treasuries anymore is going to be government funds, the Federal Reserve, and the banks. About 40% of all the treasury debt that's being bought is being bought by the Federal Reserve and the banks, and when they do it, they print money. That's how it happens. They don't use money from their vaults. They ain't got no money in the vaults. They print money to buy the treasuries with. That money printing causes the dollar strength to weaken, the DXY to go down, which pushes asset prices up. This table proves my point. The purchasing of the debt causes the debt bond yields to fall, forcing investors and portfolio managers to go into risky investments like crypto to get a return. You're not going to get a good return from treasury bonds anymore. You have to go to assets like stocks and crypto. Top of the market 2017. The M2 money supply was at 80 trillion. Crypto was as big as it ever was back then, at the time. When they slowed the growth of the M2, crypto went down, losing 60% of its value. Total market cap. When it shot up from 83 to 95 trillion in money supply, crypto market cap did what was that? It almost went to 3 trillion. It was just under 3 trillion. So let's see, from there, that'd be like, that's a 5x. A 5x in value. Then, when it slows, so they don't kill off the money supply too much. They don't burn money. They just slow the growth of it, really. When it slows from 95 to 100, see, going from 83 to 95, that's $12 trillion being added. But from 95 to 100, it's just 5 trillion. That chopped the crypto market to less than 1/3, another 60% drawdown. So far, it's only done a 3x. I mean, it's a little bit higher now because it's the crypto market cap now. I think it's 3.77 trillion, a little bit higher. But it wasn't no 5 or 6x. And there's more money outside of crypto than we can possibly imagine, still yet to come in. Now, who knows this besides me? It's clear that George from Cryptos R Us doesn't know this. It's clear that Rand Nooner doesn't know this. It's clear that Ivan on Tech doesn't know this. And those imbeciles over at Piss Cover Crypto don't know this. But who does know this? Take a look at the chart. Institutions. All of the run that we have gotten so far has been from the institutional ETFs and the institutions themselves. BlackRock, Fidelity, World Liberty Finance, Michael Saylor, Tom Lee. Retail, in fact, has been a net negative withdrawal, downward sell pressure. Why did Richard Hart call us sell pressure? Because that's exactly what retail is right now. That's what it's been this whole cycle, is sell pressure. He wasn't specifically just calling us out. He's calling out the whole crypto market. Retail is sell pressure right now. Now, you might say, okay, well, all that this proves is that it's an institutional cycle. Only institution's going to make money because nobody in retail is participating. And this is the end of the cycle. Are institutions in the business of losing money? Is BlackRock a fan of losing money? Is Fidelity a fan of losing money? Do they enjoy doing that? How about Trump? Does he enjoy losing money? And I can tell you, here's the thing about Fidelity is that they do not lose money. Ask me how I know. Way back in 2007, there was a lot of pressure on Fidelity to get involved in mortgages. They said no. They refused. because they knew that money was going to be lost in them. And they were right. There was a lot of pressure on them to get into Bitcoin in 2017. I know, because I was on the phones for them, having to take those calls. We didn't get into Bitcoin then. Or they didn't. They didn't get into Bitcoin then. They eventually got into it later. But they didn't get into it then. Because they knew it was going to be market top pretty soon. These institutions are not stupid. All you bears out there, you are not smarter than Larry Fink. You are not smarter than Abigail Johnson. You like to think you are. You like to think you are when you're sitting at home jerking off to your charts. But no, you're not smarter than these people. They don't lose money. And if you are smart, if you really think that you are, why aren't you knocking on their doors saying, hey, I can be your consultant. I'm going to save you billions of dollars because you guys are about to lose billions of dollars. You make a lot of money consulting them. But you see, if you can't even get on a stream and present your case to me because you're too chickened, then obviously you can't argue with the institutions. So yeah, bears, you people are wrong. You're dead wrong. And you're going to miss out on a lot of money. And anybody that listens to you, you are hurting them financially. And I don't know how you're going to sleep at night. I don't know how you're going to sleep at night with all that. Because you are going to hurt people with your stupidity. Now, that's all it is at this point. I've presented all the facts here to you, and you're still thinking that it's bearish. You're stupid. That's the only thing that we can say about you. Or, well, because you're just illiterate. Because this is who you're up against. When you sell now, you're giving your crypto to these people. To Larry Fink. To Abigail Johnson. Man, I'm not giving Abby my crypto. I got a personal beef with her. All right? That's a story for another day. I'll tell you, I got story after story about my time there. But I'll save those stories. That might actually be a top signal when I start telling stories from then. But I am not giving my crypto to these people. Why are you? I mean, you guys going to let the rich keep getting richer while you get poorer? And we do have the I-shaped economy that's coming? There ain't going to be no K-shaped economy. It's going to be an I-shaped economy where very tiny fraction of people are going to have all the money. Do you want to be in that fraction, or do you want to be on the outside envying them? Hey, gentlemen, here's what you're up against. I got a message for both the men and for the women. So, gentlemen, here's what you're up against. Think of the hottest babes that you can think of, like Sydney Sweeney, or let's see, who else? I guess Gia McCool. Yeah, I'd say Gia McCool and Sydney Sweeney. Larry Fink is going to be so rich that he's going to be having women that look like Sydney Sweeney and Gia McCool rubbing his shoulders all hours of the day, probably rubbing something else later on, maybe 2-3 times a day. While you're going to be poor, and the best thing that you can hope for is for your favorite OnlyFans model to have a special discount this month. You want to be that? Believe the bears then, and follow the bears, because that's where you're going to end up. Ladies, all you ladies watching, I know there's a few of you out there. And Tam, I know you're one of them there. Michelle is another one. I'm sure I offended all the rest of them. But you guys, imagine this here. Abigail Johnson, this is what is going to happen with her. Think of Magic Mike, which is a lifestyle I used to live. That's a story for another time. Think of Magic Mike, or let's see, who are the other hot guys today that y'all are into? Is it Glenn Powell or yeah? So Glenn Powell and Channing Tatum. Abigail Johnson is going to be getting her shoulders rubbed by hot guys like that after this cycle is over. Wrinkly old Abby is going to be getting rubbed down by those guys all hours of the day, and they're probably going to be rubbing something else maybe 2-3 times a day. What are you going to be doing? What are you going to be doing? I think that if you sell your crypto to her, the best you're going to be hoping for is just going down to let's see, man. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like being a desperate woman that's been excommunicated from the sexual marketplace. Yeah, best you could hope for is that you find some rich fool on Tinder or something, or you hope that you get a little bit of attention on Instagram or Bumble, and that's the best that's going to happen to you. Meanwhile, Abigail Johnson is going to be getting rubbed down by Magic Mike and Glenn Powell, laughing all the way to the bank, being set for life. She's already set for life. She's going to be even more set for life. Everybody in her family is going to be set for life here after this cycle is over. If you let them have your crypto, because selling out now is just going to make these 4 people richer than you can possibly imagine. These guys, they're going to be like richer than Elon Musk by the time this is over, if you sell right now. So, is that what you want? Is that the future you want? Or do you believe the charts? Do you believe the evidence that I have presented? Do you believe in gravity? Because that's what I presented here. Do you believe the facts? Or do you think you know better than reality? Because I'll tell you, there's a whole generation of kids out there whose lives are ruined, absolutely ruined, because they thought they knew better than reality. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about my generation, the millennials. Because y'all have heard the story about me. I got a useless degree in acting because I was lazy and because I believed the lies that, hey, in America you can be anything you want, that you can convince the 8 billion other people on the planet to make life easy for you. That's what us millennials were taught. And our parents told us this crap. Our teachers, guidance counselors, the whole psychology profession, politicians, the whole boomer generation told us, yeah, you can be whatever you want. They all told us, hey, follow your heart and the money will follow. Oh, just go to college because any degree is a good degree. Those were some of the lies that they told us. And this is all going to be, I'm going to have like a big detailed Substack about this here, about like how millennial lives were ruined by boomers and the boomer advice. But we tried to defy reality. We tried to rebel against it. And look at our lives. Many millennials are living ruined lives, deep in debt, no hope in hell of ever getting out of it, no hope in hell of retirement. They got 0 retirement savings. And also, no hope in hell to even find love. Because look at the millennial relationship dating market, the mating market for millennials. It is awful. You ever been on a dating app? Hey, look at that. That's how they meet. You've seen like how awful that these relationship, like even in the potential stage, looks. It's terrible. I mean, that's why these shows on YouTube are so popular, because both men and women in the generation are at odds with each other, hate each other, and they're adversaries. And that's how they view it. It was what my last business was all about, was about trying to fix that problem. And there were some guys that I was able to help. There were some that would listen to me and do exactly what I said. But then there were also a bunch of guys that were just like, Cairo, how do I get the girls? And I tell them, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. Oh, that sounds like work. I'm like, yeah, it takes work. Everything worth doing takes work. Because what they were really asking wasn't, how do I get the girls? What they were really asking is, how do I get the girls without doing any work? And that's millennials arguing against reality, believing that they can defy reality, thinking that they can get something for nothing. Thinking, oh, education was a right. Healthcare is a right. Housing is a right. And it should be given to me for free. Those people are living very miserable, horrifically ruined lives right now. Do you want to be one of them? Because this market, these investments, crypto, is the only liberation, the only hope of liberation you have from a ruined life. Because everybody that is not going to be investing in crypto this cycle, their lives are going to be exponentially harder. Exponentially harder. Because while all this money printing is good for us asset holders, it is going to be hell. Absolute hell for everyone else. Because when the inflation catches up to the money printing, it's going to be horrible. Absolutely horrible. You think gas is expensive right now? You're going to be looking at $6 to $9 a gallon gasoline. Like right now here in Florida, it's $3 a gallon. It'll be double that by the time this is all over. So, guys, if I didn't convince you, then go ahead, sell your bags, make these people richer, make me richer too while you're at it. Matter of fact, I'll buy your bags from you. If you're not convinced, I don't know what I need to show you because I've shown you everything that proves me right. All right? Let's take a quick look here at what T-Bird posted here, and I'll try to talk about it here. All right. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing but respect for RH, but if I was in RH's position, I'd be so ashamed by Pulse Chain's performance over the last 2.5 years. No, I don't think so. I mean, we're very lucky to have the prices that we have right now based on the circumstances that we're in right now. For the 10-year Treasury to be above 4% and for us to have a positive price tag in general, that's amazing. Regardless of the fact that he won his against the SEC for himself and his coins, as long as he remains quiet, his perceived reputation is going to keep copying major L's. Okay. Keep copying major L's. Is this young person speak right here? Am I a boomer for not knowing what he means by that? It has been a catastrophic failure from an esoteric standpoint. I have figured out why, which I won't get into because people won't get it even if I explain it here. T-Bird, get on a stream with me and explain it to me because I promise you I will do my damn best to get it. And unfortunately, because Pulse Chain is so wrecked, it ends up having a negative ripple effect on Hex too. Keeping it real, this marketing campaign does not automatically translate into upside price movement for the chain. T-Bird, I 100% agree with you on that. I have been against the whole marketing thing from the very beginning. I've always thought it was a bad idea. It was a waste of time, waste of money. But we ain't got to argue that point. Let's argue a different point. And in reality, initiating a marketing campaign like this should have been done much earlier in 2025, around the time when the Interpol FUD was at its peak. No, it would have been a bad time to do it right here, because like any marketing you do right now is going to be an absolute waste of money when treasuries are above 4%. RH will never admit it, but he's timed some moves extremely poorly this cycle. I don't think so. Again, T-Bird, get on stream with me, because I want to hash this out here. I want to hear you out. It's not a debate, it's a discussion. Even though Solana is on the way down, it captured too much of the mind share alongside Bitcoin over the last 2 years. I don't see the Solana plebs bridging over to Pulse Chain and the L2s simultaneously extract. T-Bird, we don't need people to bridge money to Pulse Chain to make it go up. We don't even need people to buy EHEX to make it go up. When the money printing occurs and the institutions do what they're going to do, which is buy more Ethereum, that makes us go up because we're all paired to Ethereum. All of the core coins are paired to Ethereum. All right? EHEX, plenty of pools that pair it to Ethereum, and then the Pulse Chain Treasury is in Ethereum. So just from the money printing, that is going to have to occur. You can't argue with me against the fact that money printing is going to occur. That is just a fact at this point. I mean, if it doesn't occur, the world ends. What else did he say here? What's absolutely crazy to me is that ETH has barely poked above the all-time high, and people are literally celebrating like it's a victory, which is pure effing comedy and makes the situation even more concerning. Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's barely done anything, but it can do a lot very quickly because once it goes above 5,000, there are billions of shorts that are going to get liquidated. You're going to see it go from 5,000 to 10,000 very quickly. Realistically, Pulse Chain is not going to get any financial impact from RH. He ultimately wouldn't give a shit whether Pulse Chain performs or not because his mind, the 10,000x in Hex last cycle was probably enough glory for him. Really think so? Because if that was the case, why would he go through all the trouble of building a whole new chain and then go through all the trouble of fighting the SEC? That SEC fight, that was a lot of trouble, and that was very expensive. Now, he's a rumored billionaire, so spending tens of millions of dollars might not be a lot to him. No, this is a guy that it does mean a lot to him. This does here, because why would you do it? Like, if he doesn't care, why would you go through that fight? Because you got to understand, once guys get that rich, when they get into billionaire status, they're not thinking about like, what else can they buy to show off and flex and do more outrage marketing like he does. What they're thinking of is, how can I buy a better world? He wouldn't give two shits whether Hex and Pulse Chain permanently remain in the shitter for many more years to follow because delayed gratification, right? No, I mean, when you stay down for a long enough period of time right here, eventually even your true believers start to leave you. I wanted to be bullish for a long time, but reality is starting to sink in for me at this point. See, this is how you know that it's a bottom signal there. This is how you know it's a bottom signal, is like when even your true believers are starting to give up here and everything. So, T-Bird, come on stream with me. Let's hash this out. It's not a debate, it's a discussion. Because what I'm telling you is that no marketing is going to matter with a Treasury yield above 4%. My charts prove that. Richard Hart streaming will not do a damn thing when you got T-bills above 4% and T-bonds above 4% as well. None of it matters. Eric Wall knew this when he made those bets with everybody. He saw where the federal funds rate is at. He saw where the 10-year Treasury is at. That's why he made those bets. Are you telling me he gets it, but you don't? Guys, you want revenge on Eric Wall? Show him that he's not smarter than you. Because the moment you sell, he's laughing at you, saying, oh yeah, I'm so much smarter than that hexagon. He's laughing at you when I do it. So, guys, here's what I want you to do with this stream here. One, any bear that you see out there posting some bearish crap like this, no offense to T-Bird, got a lot of respect for you, take this stream and post it underneath it and be like, hey, watch this. If you're still bearish, then go on stream with Cairo and prove him wrong. I really want to face a bear. I really want to face him. I really want somebody to set me straight here and prove me wrong. I want to be wrong. I do. T-Bird, I want you to be right. I wanted this all to be over within a few months because I would love nothing more than to sell my bags in October and never have to be heard from again. I would love nothing more than that, but I know that that's not going to happen. Anybody out there who thinks that this is over, here's your chance to prove that point. Here's the chance. You guys got evidence like I got? I've made my case. Let's see you people make your case. Do you guys have any evidence? Is there anything that you can show me that proves me wrong? Because I ain't seen nothing from you guys that convinces me. I ain't seen nothing from you guys. In fact, everything I've been seeing has been the opposite. There was something else I posted here. Did you guys see this? I think this also proves me right as well. And again, this isn't me trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm so right, y'all are so stupid and everything. I'm not trying to do that. But look at this. A lot of people that are bearish right now are posting the exact same thing. Like they're all from a click farm, or like they're all from the same script, or like they're all sharing the same Discord, posting these messages all over the place. Look at this. Who was it that found it? This fella, Not Telling You. Yeah, Not Telling You was the name of his account here. He's the one that posted this here saying, yeah, this is all bullcrap. You got all these people posting the exact same thing. Why is that? How is that possible? Or I mean, are they all talking to each other? So, bears, somebody come and prove me wrong. I want to hear from you. In the meantime, y'all can just do this.
Sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up.
Hey man, just want to let you know that sometimes you gotta shut the fuck up. This current time is just one of those times you gotta shut the fuck up. I don't think you're a bad person. I just don't want to hear you talking anymore. You gotta shut up.
All right, that's all I got for today here. Everybody enjoy the holiday weekend. Find a bear that wants to get on stream with me, hit me up on X. Till then, Cairo out.